Okay, so in terms of this moment, I think for me, the sort of crumbling facade of what seems to be an international rules-based order has fundamentally showed us that the rules-based order actually has never existed. That in many respects, rules only really apply to the poor and the seemingly powerless, not to the prosperous and the powerful. And so for me, for the prosperous and the powerful, essentially might makes right. And we're seeing that so glaringly obvious in terms of the geopolitical landscape. Not only does might make right, brute force seems to be the weapon of choice for a lot of institutions, for a lot of powerful individuals, for a lot of countries that wield considerable clout and power. And I think we can come up with a number of different examples. So I'll just rattle them off because I think everybody in this room will be familiar with the fact that there is a genocide taking place in Palestine right now. We also see a US that has imperial kind of tendencies, not only in places like looking at Greenland, but also in Venezuela, where they've actually kidnapped a sitting head of state. Now, whether you have issues with Maduro or not, the fact of the matter is there was a kidnapping of a head of state and a removal of a head of state and his wife. And I think what's led subsequently to that is this sort of stranglehold that's been placed on a place like Cuba, a communist regime in Cuba. We also see Russia's neo-imperial ambitions in Ukraine. And from what I remember, is it this week or last week that marks the 4th year anniversary of this particular war. We also see the Epstein scandal has solidified for us the implication of powerful men across the world who believe as if no rules apply to them. We've seen punishing unconstitutional US tariffs take precedence across the globe in which countries in the so-called global south are at the receiving end of economic inequality. And then last but certainly not least, most troubling is US aggression against Iran. So for me, all of these examples fundamentally demonstrate that a rules-based order has never existed. And if it does exist in its actuality, those rules really only apply to the poor and those who are seemingly powerless. And the reason I say seemingly powerless is because in the academic literature, maybe even in the public discourse, no one is powerless. There's a quote that I often share with my students at the London School of Economics in which Indian author and academic Arundhati Roy argues that there's no such thing as a powerless. There's no such thing as the voiceless. There's only the deliberately silenced and the preferably unheard. And I think in many respects, when we're thinking about these examples at the geopolitical level, there are many people who are being deliberately silenced and preferably unheard.
Thank you, Robtel.